Melody Shari dropped some clean, quiet shade last night, and it was the kind that doesn't need a long speech to land. She got on her stories, took the range for a quick spin around the block, smiled, gave that little wink, and logged off. That was it. No dragging, no name-calling, no threat of posts. Just a small flex that said a lot. It hit harder because it came right after a week when she talked about courthouse drama and the car talk around Ariane and Martell. When you put those moments back to back, the message feels simple and sharp: I'm good. I'm moving. I'm not pressed. That is the story today: how a small move can be loud, why this kind of shade works, and what it says about the bigger picture with Love and Marriage Huntsville, the cast, and the way folks are feeling about the show right now. Let's lay out the timeline in plain words. Last week, Mel went live and told us about a courthouse moment that sounded tense and messy. In that same breath, she said Ariane didn't have a car and that Martell was picking her up and dropping her off like a teenager. She didn't do a whole rant. She just said what she said, quick and clear, and added that if Martell wanted to post things in his stories, he should go get that girl a car and post that new car instead. It was direct. It was bold. It was one of those say it with your chest and move on moments. Then we jump to last night. Mel slides in with the Range Rover story, a relaxed drive, a soft wink, and silence. You didn't need a caption. You didn't need a paragraph. That's classy petty. That's the kind of shade that floats across your screen and makes you say, oh, I know what that was. Why does that work so well? Because subtle shade is about control. It's about choosing peace on the surface while still making it clear you're not the one to play with. When a person goes loud, you can meet them on that level, but that adds fuel. When a person goes quiet and shows proof of where they stand, it shifts power. Think about it: you can scream "I'm fine" 1,000 times, and folks may still not believe you. But if you show up calm, in motion, living well, and not pressed, people can feel it without you saying a word. That's what made the Range Rover moment land. It wasn't just a car. It was a symbol put in the right place at the right time after the courthouse and car talk. The message wasn't "I'm better." The message was "I'm booked, I'm busy, I'm blessed, and I'm not stuck in old mess." There's another layer here too. Mel has learned that every word she says will be picked apart. If she goes heavy, it turns into a cycle of back and forth, threads of posts, and a fight that eats up the week. If she goes quiet, it gives her control of her time and her mood. She lets the shade do the work. The wink did the talking. The drive did the talking. The silence did the talking. And yes, it was funny. You could not watch that story and not feel that little sting of satire. It was a polite roast served chilled. Now, let's talk about the courthouse piece and the idea that folks were pressing her there. That was heavy. Anytime a courthouse is involved, it means life stuff is real. It's not a set. It's not a storyline. It's real life. So when Mel spoke on that and then, days later, we see her cruising in peace, it sets a tone. Chaos showed up at my door, but peace still got the last word. That's a lesson a lot of people relate to. You don't always have to clap back. Sometimes you show you're okay, and that says more than a clap ever could. Then there's the car topic around Ariane. Is it helpful or harmful to go at someone for not having a car? That can turn off people who feel the jab is too personal. But in this case, it wasn't random. It came in context. It came after a claim that Mel was being harassed, and it came with a message aimed at the person posting about her: if you've got time to post, you've got time to handle your business. Again, you can agree or disagree with the hit, but you can see the logic in the setup. She wasn't running around starting fights. She was putting a light on what she felt were mixed priorities and saying, handle that. All of this sits on top of a bigger conversation: the state of Love and Marriage Huntsville. A viewer said the show feels stale this season, made up scenes, overacting, and the same drama with no growth. He said without Mel and the long, hard arc she had with Martell at the center, the show falls flat. That take was blunt. But then someone else chimed in and made a point that feels fair: the problem isn't only about one person leaving or staying. The real issue might be the lack of movement. The stories aren't evolving. The cast feels stuck in the same loops: old rumors, old fights, old triangles. And reality TV, to stay alive, needs to show change. Folks can love mess, but they also want growth. They want to see people turn a page, level up, start something new, and face new challenges. If the only thing on the menu is reheated conflict, the plate gets cold. So where does Mel fit in that? Mel's brand of shade isn't just about a car. It's about narrative. It's about showing a next chapter. Whether you're a fan or not, you can see she knows how to set a scene in a few seconds and make it mean something. She knows timing. She knows how to give just enough and keep the rest off screen. That's why people stayed with her. They like the wins, but they also like the way she frames the wins. It's modern storytelling in a story world that often leans on yelling and table flips. She changed the room by not speaking. That's power. Let's take a minute and unpack subtle but loud shade, because this is the kind of moment that lives across celebrity culture in daily life. Subtle shade is when you don't call names, but you place a symbol in view. It's the new car, the new house keys, the new business lunch, the quiet soft launch of a relationship, or a calm I'm out with friends post after a breakup. It's a single picture. That tells a whole story. It's craft. The loud part comes from the timing. If Mel had posted the same drive in a random week, no one would think twice. But after a week of car talk and courthouse mess, the same clip becomes a billboard. And once people understand the context, they do the rest on their own. That's why it works. You never give the other side enough to argue with. It's hard to start a new fight with a wink and now, let's come back to the show. The viewer who said he was bored wasn't alone. Many people feel like the show is in a holding pattern. They want new goals, new wins, and new losses that come from real movement. In a good season of any reality series, you see three things: a personal climb, a relationship test, and a group event that ties the cast together. A good season should make you cheer for someone, worry about someone, and want to see how the group solves a problem. If the problem is always the same triangle or the same rumor, it dulls the edge. That's why people say growth. Growth gives a reason to tune in next week. Growth builds new conflict, but it builds it around new ground. What would that growth look like for this cast? For starters, a pivot from old fights to new ventures. Show us real business stakes, a launch that might fail, a hire that goes wrong, money on the line, creative risk, and the pressure that comes with it. Show us co-parenting that isn't only about court dates but about schedules, schools, holidays, and the real work of the week. Show us therapy that isn't staged, but steady sessions that change how people act in a group scene 2 episodes later. Show us family talks that lead to a real plan and then hold people to it. And yes, show us fun. When every group dinner turns into a blow-up over the same subject, it makes the dinners feel fake. Give the group a reason to be together other than fighting: charity work, a city project, a joint event they all need to pull off, a mentorship day with local teens. Let conflict come from the pressure of doing something that matters, not just from gossip. The subtle shade moment from Mel can be a blueprint here. It says, tell a story with timing, not with volume. If the show followed that, scenes would breathe. Scenes could start small and build because of what came before, not because someone walked in ready to yell. People will watch a slow burn if it pays off. People will watch an arc if it goes somewhere. And people will forgive a quiet episode if the next episode moves a piece on the board that we care about. Let's talk about Martell's role in this. When viewers brought up the idea that he should focus on reviving the show, that wasn't just a jab. It was a note. He is a central figure. He knows how to hold the camera. He knows how to spark a scene. But the trick isn't only to spark. It's to build. If he wants to win the audience back, he needs to take the things people complain about and flip them into growth. That means fewer posts that feel like they're aimed at the past and more moves that feel future-minded. Build something, then let the cameras follow the work, not just the talking. Bring in mentors. Bring in partners. Let us see where he's trying to be a year from now. Viewers don't need perfect. They need progress. What about Ariane? People have strong opinions, and the car talk added heat. But if we step back from the heat, there's a clear point in the middle. A car isn't only about status. It's about movement and independence. When someone cracks a joke about that, it stings because it hits daily life. That's why Mel's line about "go get that girl a car" had weight. It wasn't just shade. It was shade with a fix. You want to post? Cool. Do this first. Whether folks agree with her tone or not, most people can agree with the idea that basic needs should be handled before you jump online to score points. The energy you give to mess should be less than the energy you give to your home base. Now, back to the range spin and the wink. Sometimes one small, cool gesture breaks a whole cycle of drama. You go around the block, breathe, and come back with a lighter heart. You let the world know you're not a hostage to any storyline. You're making new chapters. And the best part? When you live like that, the people who root for you have a simple script to follow: cheer, laugh, move on. No heavy debates. No he said, she said charts. Just a mood. And a mood can carry a whole week online. Let's give space to the viewer who said, "I will not be watching another episode." That's a strong reaction. It matters because ratings are about feelings, not just facts. If viewers feel bored, they don't show up. If they feel like the show honors their time with real moments and new arcs, they will sit down for an hour. The note for the network and the producers is clear: reduce the filler, raise the stakes, and deliver real change. The note for the cast is also clear: bring something new next time you sit down at that dinner table. If you don't have a new truth or a new plan, take a week off from the table and go live something worth filming. Now let's zoom in on why the range around the block story hit the internet sweet spot. It was short. It was bright. It was easy to share and easy to get. Social media rewards moments that are simple to read on mute. You could watch the clip without sound and still get the tone: relaxed, unbothered, and a little bit playful. When drama gets heavy, the audience wants release. A smooth car ride with a wink is release. It's the "I'm okay" stamp after a long day of essays. It's a reminder that you can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you move after. There's also the style element. Mel knows how to package a moment. Hair right, lighting right, smile right, and then out. That kind of polish makes the shade feel classy instead of mean. People don't want to feel dirty after they laugh. They want to feel in on the joke, not dragged into a brawl. That's why a lot of viewers called it classy petty. It's an art form now. And to be fair, it's not just a celebrity thing. A lot of people use that same move in real life. You don't post your ex's texts. You post your brunch. You don't go live to call names. You post your hike and your water bottle. The image says what the words would have said, and it does it without the mess. Let's think about the other comment we heard: the group isn't growing. That's the heart of the critique. Growth on a reality show looks like this: last season you were stuck in a loop, this season you break a loop. Last season your business was a plan, this season it's a launch. Last season co-parenting was only conflict, this season you have a steady schedule and a shared rule that both homes follow. Last season the friend group was split, this season two people actually sit down and solve one real thing, not just a camera-deep truce. If even one main relationship shows that kind of movement, the season starts to feel fresh. Once you feel one fresh story, you're willing to watch the other stories try and fail. The problem comes when no one moves, and the fight becomes the only thing to watch. That's when folks tap out. Now, if you're wondering whether Mel meant her story is shade or just a casual drive, let's be honest with the timing again. After last week's live and the car talk, a Range Rover loop on stories isn't random. It's a little joke with a point. It's like walking past a rumor mill with a smile and a shopping bag. You don't have to say a word. The moment says, "I'm living." And because she didn't call names, the joke hits and keeps moving. That's why it's so effective. It hurts less people and still sends a signal. A smart part of this is that it avoids legal smoke too. When you keep things symbolic, you dodge the trap of making hard claims that can get pulled apart. You keep your peace, you keep your image, and you keep your focus. That's a skill you learn the hard way when your life is public. You figure out what to say, what to show, and what to leave alone. You find power in being selective. And over time, that earns a kind of respect even from people who don't like you. They might roll their eyes at the shade, but they can't argue with the delivery. A note for viewers who feel tired: you're not wrong to want new things. You give your time. You want to feel like it was worth it. But here's a thought: maybe we also hold ourselves to the same standard we want from the cast. If we say we like growth, let's reward it when we see it. When someone tries therapy for real, don't clown them. When someone starts a new business, don't call it fake in the first week. Give people a chance to build. Growth is slow. Drama is quick. If the only thing that trends is chaos, then creators learn to chase chaos. If we can give some love to the slow wins, then we get more of them. Back to Mel's moment one more time, because it connects to this idea. That spin around the block was tiny. But it lit up the timeline because it carried story. That's what producers need to chase: small, real, rich beats that carry story. A child's school event that changes a schedule. A budget talk that changes a launch plan. A quiet apology that changes a friendship. These are not big fireworks in the moment, but they set up bigger fireworks later. The shade we saw was a small beat that connected two big beats, a courthouse mess and a wider talk about the show's energy. It threaded the needle. Let's talk tone for a second. One reason people still tune in to Mel's updates is tone. She can be direct without being harsh. She can joke without being reckless. She can slide a jab without a meltdown. That tone gives her room to make mistakes and fix them. It also gives her room to grow without announcing a new me every month. People like steady. Steady is rare online. If anything, the quiet drive was a soft "I'm steady" message. As for what happens next, the ball is in the court of the showrunners and the cast. They can let this season be a lull, or they can use the feedback as a map. Add new faces with real ties to the group. Give each main cast member a new goal that will take the whole season to reach. Plan a group project that has money at stake so the scenes matter. Line up 2 or 3 honest sit-downs that we know are coming, and then let us see people prepare for them in real life, not just at a glam event. Keep the fights. Sure, humans argue, but let the fights be about things that aren't 12 months old. If someone brings up a rumor from 2 years ago, have the next person say, "That's done, what's next?" That line alone would feel like a fresh breeze on this show. To close in on the heart of today's story, Mel drove a range and winked. It was light. It was funny. It was shade with manners. It came after a week of heavy talk, and it sent a simple message: I'm okay, and I'm moving forward. Whether you love her or not, you can learn from that. Not everything needs a statement. Not every slight needs a speech. Sometimes you post your piece and keep it moving. If you felt the sting in that clip, you weren't alone. If you laughed, you weren't alone. And if you rolled your eyes and thought, "It's just a car," that's fair too. Art lands in different ways. But here's what can't be denied: the timing was sharp, the delivery was clean, and the silence was golden. That's how you do subtle shade. Let's take a breath and look at the bigger lesson for anybody watching this, outside of the show, outside of the fandom. You deal with stress. You deal with people who try you. You deal with places that don't treat you right. You don't have to answer everything. You can pick one calm move, do it well, and let it speak. Take a walk. Post your progress. Finish a task. Treat yourself. Not every win needs a victory lap, but a quiet win can reset your whole week. That's what that little drive was. It was a reset. The message was not "I got more than you." The message was not "I got more than you." The message was "I'm not stuck here." Now, about the comment that the show can go on without Mel, but the problem is the cast not growing. I think both things can be true. A show can survive the exit of a strong figure if the rest level up. But if the rest stand still, then yes, it feels empty. Think about when any team loses a star. The team can still win if the others step up with new plays and real hustle. If they don't, the season drags. This is a team sport. If one person leaves and the energy drops, that's a team problem. The fix isn't pining for the star. The fix is building a new plan. We also have to talk about the audience's relationship with reality TV. The audience now is smarter than ever. People can smell staged fuss. They can tell when a scene is built only to fill minutes. So the only answer is to let real life lead. If a week is quiet, show the quiet. If a week is wild, show the wild. But don't sell last year's fire as this year's spark. That's what makes folks say overacting. The camera can't save fake energy. It only makes it louder. As we wrap this up, bring your mind back to that image: a short drive, a soft smile, a wink, and done. That was enough. It was light after heavy. It was peace after noise. It was a small act that felt like a full sentence. The courthouse talk gave us the problem. The car talk gave us the theme. The Range Rover story gave us the punchline. And the bigger talk about the show gave us the question: what are we looking for in this world of TV and timelines? I think the answer is simple. We want real growth, real wins, real losses, and real moments that surprise us. We want people to get better at being people, even when they mess up along the way. And when shade happens, we want it to be smart, not cruel. Last night checked those boxes. So, what do you think? Was that story a gentle flex aimed at a very specific conversation, or was it just a casual drive that the internet turned into a whole event? Do you want the show to push into new storylines, or are you okay with the same old circles as long as the scenes pop? And do you think the cast can bring fresh energy without leaning on the same fights? I'm leaning toward hope. I think there's a path to a better season: less reheated drama, more real goals, more steady growth, and shade used like spice, not the whole meal, just a pinch that makes the dish sing. Before we go, let's pull one more small lesson from the way this played out. Melody didn't write a paragraph to explain herself. She didn't tag anyone. She didn't give headlines a line to chop and spread. She posted a vibe. That's Media Training 101 in 2025. Give a picture that speaks, protect your peace, and let people do what they do. The ones who get it, get it. The ones who don't, won't. Either way, you still slept well that night. And maybe that's the real win. If the show listens to the notes, if the cast turns the page, and if we as viewers reward growth when we see it,